Yeah.
This is the quality of BGP.
It is wet out, to be fair.
It is very moist.
It's damp.
Hopefully it's not raining over for the final tonight.
I actually thought there was going to be some showers at the home of cricket. Side note, how shit is Lords? Like, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but it's actually like a mud, like, it's like a pretty much a bush league ground.
Is it? I haven't watched any of the World Cup, mate, I'm going to be honest.
There's a massive lean that comes completely down, like it's on a slope, and the buildings are cruddy as.
More importantly, mate, I've just got a notification that Boys Get Paid is now live. I think that might be us.
You're kidding me.
Chautauqua Boom right over the top.
Right over the top and into my heart. The Last League Podcast, Episode 1, Trial, Dry Run, whatever you want to call it. The pilot, maybe. Here we are in sunny Epsom. It's wet. So are we, because we've got something very exciting to tell you. The Last League Podcast, indeed, brought to you by Boys Get Paid. Kemeys is here with me. Benny Boy's behind the camera, as always, doing the God's work. I'm Louis Herman-Watt. Usually you can find me at Radio Sport, punishing listeners on the AM. It's tough out there. For now, at least, I'm here helping the Boys Get Paid guys out at a reasonable cost. And we're about to enlighten your lives with a podcast weekly, all through the spring, through the summer, over New Year's. Every sort of race that, every feature, every Group 1 that you want to know about, we're going to be tipping, we're going to be speaking to the people involved. It's going to be mint. Kemeys is here. He's the godfather. He's the OG. He's Mr. Boys Get Paid.
Wow.
A lot on?
You're making a lot of fucking big promises, mate. I like it. Firstly, that it's going to be weekly and that we're going to give out good tips and banter. But I guess, firstly, you've turned up here with a lot of energy, which I admire. You're prepared. You're way more prepared than I am. And you've brought this big piece of fucking kit as well.
It's going to get desperate.
And there's people talking off this piece of kit. And Benny's obviously set the camera up here. So how this obviously came about was that you kind of reached out to us a little while ago, and obviously you've got the Stoke podcast, which is flying for you guys at Radio Sport.
Yeah, you can get that on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. We'll be putting our podcast too, but at the Stoked.
I think we've talked about you not interrupting, or is that me not interrupting? And you told us that it was kind of shit what we were doing, so thanks for the feedback. We always like taking feedback on board. And you said you were willing to help turn the current podcast format into something a little bit sexier and a bit more in depth, and with a bit of structure and a bit of flow and a bit more preparation, rather than us just turning up, drinking 1,000 beers and talking shit in Hong Kong. So here we are having a little bit of a tester, and scary that apparently it actually costs to get good talent and good equipment. So we can't even afford any beers yet, but we're going to run a raffle to try and pay for your time for the rest of the spring. Then maybe we will be able to make it weekly. So you can find a ticket to the raffle at boysgetpaid.com/raffle, and it'll have all of the details there. I'll hand the stick back.
You're sounding a bit salesy. We've come in hot. We're trying to sell, mate. We've got to build an audience. We've got to build trust.
Somebody!
Drop that big time.
Oh, Gerstenville, how good was he? Actually, the Warriors didn't lose last night. Pretty good effort.
Yeah, hot. Did watch that.
What we need to tell you is what we're actually doing. So we are doing a podcast, and that podcast isn't just going to be us sitting on a couch in sunny Epsom. It's raining outside, talking smack about what we're going to be doing each week. We're actually
house is this?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Okay.
Do you know?
No.
That's good to know. We're actually going to bring you content, and we're going to bring you the content that you want. Sort of stuff that we're going to get into. Luke will be able to explain more so. But racing is an industry which, obviously, for the people in Boys Get Paid, no, it's not the strongest. It's not at the forefront of sports, and it is a sport. So how do we kind of interact, and how do we get the stories and the goodness?
It's going to get desperate.
It has already. And how do we get that goodness and find the stories and the tales from people that are inside the industry that are going to be able to kind of give us a tip, enlighten us, tell us their yarn? Well, I hope that's what we can do as well, is dishing out some really, really good tips.
And Bone Crusher races into week 1 immortality.
Outstanding. I'm already excited. So it's going to be, from previously when we've done this, it's probably going to be a little bit more racing focused, and you're going to try and facilitate a few interviews with people like Bjorn Baker, and let's just throw some more names out there.
Guy Waterhouse, yeah.
Guy Waterhouse, yeah, Guy. Outstanding. And then obviously we'll preview a few races every week as well. We'll be getting the boys back from the Past the Post, the original, when those boys are free. So Dylan's going to gift us with his knowledge of the industry, and Jared's probably just going to turn up and abuse everyone, which is also a lot of fun. And then we're going to try and throw in a couple of segments where people can get interactive with us. So give us your best bet in a minute, where you'll be able to dial in and convince us why you're going to back your best bet for the weekend. Is that correct?
Well, can they actually ring in through this?
I don't know, mate. I'm just standing here talking shit. That's the bit that I do. You're going to...
Well, I'm looking at Ben now, as well as the camera, and I'm thinking there's a little phone symbol on that, and I assume that means that we can take calls, Ben.
Yeah, fuck, we should have set that up before,
Yeah. I'm going to assume that we can do that. No, we can do that. We're going to be taking a call. We want Dragon's Den type shit where you're going to pitch us a punt, pitch us a tip, and if the lads like it, well, there'll be heaps on and we'll be getting around it because that's what we're here to do. We're here to encourage, we're here to build a profile and also be informative. I mean, that's really what I do away from Boys Get Paid. I try to inform people. It's not the highest standard sometimes, but as long as you're passing on something and somebody can take something away, I mean, that's what we're going to be doing. We've got the Boys Get Paid merch. We've got the Boys Get Paid lads. And I guess that's what we're going to do.
So when are we kicking off? We're going to kick off for probably the Foxbridge. That's the week before a couple of weeks before the first Group 1. So that's when all the good horses start to come back. So we're looking at middle of August, and this is going to tie in nicely with the Punters Club kicking back off for BGP as well. So that is exciting. And obviously, come that first episode, we'd like to have probably more than one mic.
It's a bit talking stickish, isn't it? But that's okay. I mean, we're all friends here. I am sick, so try not to inhale when you speak.
Mentally.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, that too.
Yeah.
We will have some more kit. Where we're going to be, as I said before, at the Stoke Podcast. You can go find that podcast as well. Don't listen to that now because you're watching us.
Can you fucking profile this podcast rather than your one?
Yeah, of course. What I was saying was you'll be able to get this podcast everywhere you get your podcast. So what we'll do, when we set this up, you'll be listening to this now, you'll be able to go and find us, Boys Get Paid, the Last Leg podcast. We want you to subscribe. We want you to share it. We want you to get it the fuck out there because essentially it's word of mouth. We have 14,000 people. Well, you guys have 14,000 fans of the racing industry, of yourselves.
You're a we. Yeah, it's a we.
It's a team effort. And we have got that awesome kind of, I guess, leg up already, the last leg up. And we, integration, son. Yeah. What we want, though, is we want to build it. We want to keep continuing to spread the message. So that's when you guys come in handy. So we want you to go find it on Spotify, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. Share it with your mates. Tell them to get around it because there will be a bit of everything for everyone. It's not just going to be you have to be into punting to like this podcast. If that's not your thing, well, fuck, we're not going to judge you. Come have a listen and you might learn something. Equally, you want a tip, that's what we're going to be. So we're going to dabble in a bit of everything, and we need some help, and we need to kind of get the people around it. And it is the people's movement, it's the people's podcast. That's what I hope it'll be anyway, Luke.
Shit, you're good with words, mate. It's like fucking watching me, but just way better. Give me back to this raffle. That's what I'm most excited about. Yeah, so
it's going to get desperate.
It's outstanding. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a raffle. There's unlimited tickets, so there's probably like 3 that'll sell. $20 per head, and we're going to fly you and a mate, if you're the winner, up to
2 people.
2 people, yep. There you go. You and Sex Wax Power, for instance, would be a dream Quinella. We'll host you at the Airbnb GP somewhere on a Group 1 spring racing day that we'll work out with the winner. So $20 a head. We'll get you to Auckland and back. Not if you're in bloody Aussie or Guatemala or even Poland. There's a viewer watching some of the stuff over in Poland. So we can't get you. If you're within New Zealand, we'll get you there and back. You and a mate. We'll look after you for the whole weekend. Few beers, few bets, and just genuinely have a good time. And hopefully you'll be free as well. So we'll draw that winner on the first podcast, and we'll do that via random number generator, which we will find a date for that eventually. I think it is the 17th of August, actually.
Yeah, just conferred with my notes here, Luke, and you're right. 17th of August is when we're going to be aiming, because that is, as you said, the Foxbridge.
Yep.
So that's that week of, and we're going to kind of come to you. We'll have it all glitz and glamour. We'll have the podcast all done up properly. We will have microphones, not this kind of dildo talking stick.
Well, if we sell enough tickets to the raffle, we will have probably a microphone each.
Yeah, because I'm not doing this for free.
No. Apparently it actually costs to get talent, like we said. So we'll get Benny to check very quickly as well if there's any comments or questions as such anyway before we do sort of wind down to the end. But what else have we got going on this board down here? There's a lot of colours, mate. It looks like an old school disco.
What we've kind of done and what we will do is before each race... Absolutely. Don't be sorry. Never be sorry to use this, although it will be on my side of the desk in future and out of your reach. What we're going to be able to do is we're going to have, I guess, sound effects. We're going to have race calls. We're going to have little bits of audio that we can drop in throughout the podcast to kind of keep you entertained. And also, if we're talking about the Cox Plate, you know, if we're talking about the Cox Place, we kind of want to be able to tell you about...
Chautauqua Boom!
Not that one.
cometh the legend!
Exactly. We want to be able to kind of take you back to those famous moments, those awesome moments in racing, which kind of either made you fall in love with it, you won a lot of money, you lost a lot of money, you were there, you were part of it. And that's the sort of thing you can do with audio. And that's what we've got here. So we've invested, and I think that's the key. You know, we're not taking the piss. Not that you guys were taking the piss ever.
We need some piss, though. We'll need some piss.
The runway will need to be lubed. But we will be taking this as serious as any podcast. And we actually genuinely want to have more listeners than Joe Rogan one day.
Yeah, fucking get out of here, Joe. So how do we do that as well is these little segments you're going to clip together, which we're going to then punch out on different pieces of social platforms and stuff. But great idea around getting you guys involved, like telling us your guys' stories. So the other day, for instance, the boys in the Naki won a fucking pick six. They won
unreal
17K, I think, or maybe even more. Like 3 of them chucked in together $50, 5-6% ended up with a good slice of that pick six. That's the sort of yarn we want to hear, to then be like, righto, we're going to call you, you're going to film a bit of record a bit of an interview of whatever to then play, or we'll call them live on air, and just have a bit of bloody fun with it, and tell some stories of the punt and of the tragedies and all sorts that go along with this great game.
And not to bang on, because we will wrap this up soon. Hopefully Benny will tell us if anyone's ever commented anything. We've got...
comment so far, guys.
Yeah, what's it say?
Yeah, one comment from the Rhino, obviously.
Hey.
Says, that rules me out then. Not sure what the fuck he's talking about. We'll carry on.
Thank
Nice
you.
one.
A bit
Good-
of
good-
audience
good input as always.
integration. We've got the platform. We've got an awesome group of people, an awesome group of lads and cheekers that love to get around it. And now we're just kind of going to capitalise, and we're going to produce some awesome content. So watch out.
They look great, mate.
The Last Leg podcast, it looks pretty cool. Ben, you've done a good job, man. The Last Leg podcast, we need you to go find it. Hopefully by the time, if you're watching it live, it won't be up, obviously, but by the time we've got the podcast out and distributed, we want you to go and give it a like, give it a follow, give it a subscribe, and tell your mates, get around us. I'm just
Will it be on RedTube?
No, it'll be on YouTube, though, so
Oh,
one of the
YouTube.
tubes,
One
close.
of the tubes, good. Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure which one it would be. Okay.
We will have the explicit tag next to the podcast, though, so we can
Good
get away
idea.
with a...
Good idea. Yeah.
So we can get away with a couple of the naughty words. Just looking here. Any other takes, last words, any shout-outs?
Are we usually going to do this on a Thursday night, probably? Most probably on a Thursday.
I would say so, because
Yeah.
you've been telling me, you've been educating me
Yeah.
about that's when most of the odds are looking kind of stable,
Yeah.
the fields are out, you've kind of got the form, you kind of know, hopefully you can tell if a horse has kind of been acting like a dog dick in the paddock by then.
Yeah, we might have captured a little bit of good oil in the front half of the week. And then, so if people are going to be in Auckland for something, then feel free to let us know, because, you know, there's a chance with Lance that we might end up getting just some random people on.
It's going to get desperate!
And we'll probably be desperate for guests. So
We'll
get
be-
involved. Get involved. This is the People's Podcast.
It's the Boys Get Podcast and People's Podcast. Lots of P's, lots of legs. It's the last leg. It's
Slots on
one
there.
to go. Last moments, last shout-outs. Benny behind the camera, you've set it up. You've done the job. Beautiful stuff as always, mate.
We'll get there. We'll step it up next episode.
It is a talking stick-looking dildo, so we'll let that slide for this time. Go the Black Caps tonight. Shout-out Kane. Shout-out Ross. Shout-out Trenty.
Fuck the cricket. Boysgetpaid.com/raffle. Get your raffle ticket.
Get around us!
Come back!